I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm Lacey Verbick, and I'm here with my favorite flamingo, Becky North. How are you, Becky?
You know, Lacey, I am so grateful to have been able to go outside and enjoy some of our unseasonably warm weather today with my family. And then tomorrow there's a chance of snow. So, you know, you got to love the Midwest.
Yeah, there was also a rumor of snow for Monday here in Indianapolis, but they've changed the forecast. So I think that's not happening.
Wow.
At least we're going to cross our fingers. Yeah, but today was amazing. It was like 65 and sunny, just absolutely glorious. Yeah. So we'll take what we can get, right? But
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What have you been up to this week?
Girl Scout cookies, a little bit of dance, some football stuff, and Girl Scout cookies.
All right. It is that time of year. The season is upon us.
Time of year. Yes.
Okay. Well, I know that you're a spectacular cookie mom, so.
Oh, well, thank you.
Everybody's in good hands, and so are the cookies.
Yeah.
Well, I had a busy day today. Got my hair did, so I'm looking a little bit fresh today. And I got to actually, it was really sweet. Got to spend some time with my dog. I have 3 dogs. I think I've probably mentioned that at some point, but we don't get them out of the house as individuals very often because they're sort of a pack and they don't necessarily love car rides, especially because they know they're going to the vet a lot of the time. But got a chance to get out with one of my dogs, Mac, today, and it was a really nice time. We took him to get caught up on a couple of vaccines, and while he didn't love that part, we took him to Culver's. After, for those of you who don't know Culver's, it's a Midwestern institution. And went to Culver's and they had some like outdoor seating. So we were able to like get him out of the car and like sit on the patio and like just share some French fries with him. And it was precious. And so that kind of made my whole day. Got him a pup cup. That. I got him a pup cup, too. They have the best frozen custard there. And I got him a little pup cup, and he thought he'd died and gone to heaven. So it was really sweet. Yeah.
I love that. Our little dog celebrated its birthday this month, and Kinsey, I should have taken a picture of it. She, like, concocted. She did, like, whipped cream with treats all sticking out of it.
Oh.
It was cute.
Made her a little smorgasbord, a little breakfast smorgasbord. Or a birthday smorgasbord. That's what I meant to say. Awesome. Wow. I'm sitting here with my my pinkity drinkity, feeling all decked out. But look at us. We're wearing black and white, both of us.
Yes.
We're in black and white mode. For those of you watching us on YouTube, we matched today.
Yeah. And, it wasn't even planned.
I know. And I got to show you something fun. Here we go. See if I can bend over enough. Here we go. Look at these. Check these out.
Oh, yes.
Flamingo
I
slippers.
love them.
So
I think
just
I have flamingo slippers also from you.
Just so you know, I am wearing actual pants, even though you can't see them. And I'm wearing my flamingo slippers. So we are in business. Large and in charge. Ready for a recording. Awesome.
Well, nobody can see your pants, so I guess we could say pants are optional.
Well, I'm feeling a little silly, but I do try to wear pants when I record. just so you all know. How about you, Becky? Pants optional at your house? Or?
I am wearing pants. I am.
Good to know.
Oh.
I think that's going to be our new temperature check from here on out. Are you wearing pants today, Becky? Because, some days are just no pants days. It just has to happen.
That's right.
And I'm excited because I'm going to the Indiana Plant Show tomorrow. I'm driving. So we live in the Indianapolis area, and we're driving to Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is way up north. And we're going to go see some plants and have a fun day.
Will you take lots of pictures and send them to me?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to breathe some really clean air, and I'm going to scope out all the string of pearls for some special friend of mine who may or may not be on this podcast. So anyway. That's my
I almost went to look for a string of pearls today because I was like, the weather is so nice that it would be safe for me to transport it home.
You don't want to know, Becky, how many times I have left the plant store, like with bags over the plants, like hugging them inside my coat, like running, like, you're going to be okay, baby. Because I just can't not buy them in the wintertime. But you're right. They are quite susceptible. Shocking for them.
I can see that. I saw a video. Sorry. We're squirreling so hard and it's fine. I saw a video today that was like, my friend bought a plastic. It was pouring rain. You could see it. Like they were standing at like doors and it was pouring rain. They were like, my friend bought a plastic tub to hold over her head so she didn't get it wet in the rain. And I was actually like, that's really genius. And you see the lady start walking. She's walking kind of fast because she still wants to get to her car, right? And she takes like 4 steps and then just eats it. Like just and I was like, well, she still didn't get her hair wet.
She broke her leg and her arm, but didn't get her hair wet. Oh my God, girl.
Yeah. Well, I laughed probably harder than I should have. So to that lady, both thank you for bringing me some joy, and I hope you're okay.
Oh my goodness. What we won't do for our plant babies, I think that, or our own, but fancy hairstyle. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, you're right. We're kind of silly today, aren't we? A little bit.
That's okay.
That's all right. That's all right. So go ahead, grab your favorite drink. Find your cozy corner and let's hang out for a bit.
Today we are talking about the ripple effect. The truth is, it's the small things that we do every day that don't stay small. The way that we speak to our kids, the way that we speak about ourselves, and the way we respond when we're stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, happy, it all ripples. This episode is about recognizing our energy, our words, and our choices and the waves that they create.
Oh yeah, this is this is a good one, Becky. I love to talk about ripples. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. Okay,
I am excited. I have notes.
Okay, so do I. Awesome. The first thing I want to share is that I realized as we were thinking about this topic that ripples are positive or negative, right? They're both, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of a huge thing. It's a huge thing to think about the fact that both happen, both negative ripples and positive ripples, and that that in a sense we have a choice which one we're sending out, or which one we're participating in, or which one we're receiving, or which ones we're victims of, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad that you said this because I had that in my notes too. But one of the things that I was thinking about, I used to love to throw rocks in the water when my cousins were fishing when I was little, and they hated it because they were fishing. But I loved to throw rocks in the water, and I would always see if I could stop the ripple. Right? Like if I could impact it by throwing the next rock fast enough, a bigger rock, a harder rock, this or that. And I think that why that is important and why little Becky was so wise when she didn't even know it, is because sometimes maybe we create a ripple with a reaction, or we say something or we do something and we feel later, maybe it's instant, maybe it's not, but I don't know about that. I know I've done that. Raising my hand here.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've probably done that 10 times today, right? But you can counteract it also, right? And so you can, we've talked about walking it back or apologizing or owning it, or, maybe you were rude to somebody in line at Starbucks, and maybe the next time you go to Starbucks you buy the person's drink behind you, right? There are things that you can do to you can't erase the ripple, but you can take steps to counteract it. And I think that that's important when you're looking at our ripples can be negative or positive, right? And that's the world. We're not going to be able to change that, but we can when we are impacted by a negative ripple, maybe, or when we recognize us sending a negative ripple, we can counteract that. And I think that that's so powerful. And I wish, 7-year-old Becky, 10-year-old Becky, 15-year-old Becky, 23-year-old Becky really understood that concept, that you don't, it's a ripple, it's not a wave. And like, you can have just as much power, and you can negate that.
I think you touched on two really important things there, Becky. And one is that it's subtle, right? Ripples are subtle, which is where they're sort of tricky, positive and negative. It's not loud. It's not a wave. It's not overwhelming all the time. Sometimes it's dramatic, but most of the time it's not. And I think that's a great point. And the other thing I heard in your words is awareness. The importance of awareness, and the awareness level you wish you had at those ages as the younger Becky, right? And that's it's a huge factor in the ripples we create, the level of awareness that we have.
Yeah.
Right. And I think awareness always stands to grow. I think awareness, we never stop growing our awareness, right? But we hone it in. We get more focused. We get more efficient. We get more, more awareness the more we focus on being aware, right?
Yes.
In all the different areas of life. And I've read some really cool books on awareness, and I have to tell you, I didn't understand how important it is and how it was impacting my life until I started building more awareness, until I started being intentional about being more aware, right? And and you don't realize that. You don't realize if you're not aware of the ripples you're sending out, you don't realize ripples even exist, maybe, right? But inevitably other people are affected by, and I'll add to what you shared, Becky, that I think awareness is key, but also think about ripples. I like to think about ripples in terms of energy and frequency. Right. And I know, take what you want, leave the rest. Right. I know not everybody's woo woo like me, but I see ripples as the results of energy and the frequency that we're holding. Right. Yeah. And it absolutely affects other people. Right. But I just, my point is, Becky, I think it's important that everybody kind of has a picture of a ripple. Like, what kind of image does that evoke for you? What does it make you think of? Does it make you think of a drop of water on a pond? Does it make you think of, does it make you think of water flowing in a creek? Does it make you, what does it make you think of? For me, I see the frequency lines. Like if you think of like a podcasting image or a radio broadcasting image, those frequency lines, that to me is the ripple. That's how I kind of visualize that. And I think it's important. I think, in order to be aware of your ripple, you sort of have to have maybe an icon, maybe a visualization of what the ripple looks like for you. And the holding of that image or visual will help with awareness, and will help with conscientiousness around what you're creating.
Yeah, I love that. I would say I probably think my ripple is I more often than not think about water, right?
Yep.
And the ripples across water. But I also think about it in waves. Like you said, frequency, like the bars, but I'm thinking like actual like sound waves, like in the air, and this thing that it's there and it's obviously affecting you, but you can't necessarily see it. Yes. Right? And how it just moves across everything. So,
yes, I love I love the idea that it's invisible. That's a great point, because it is.
Yeah.
Our the ripples we cause are invisible most
Yeah.
of the time. And
Yeah.
and it takes a high level of awareness to see them, right? To really kind of bring them to life. I think you have to be super aware.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of work. That takes work
Does
and
take a lot of work.
willingness. Yeah.
Yeah. I read a book once by somebody named Jeff Olson, and it's called The Slight Edge. And in that book, he talks about how it's the 1%. It's the little things that we do every day that actually make the biggest impact over time. And it was a great book. It was a great book. And I've talked about this with my children, and I was actually saying this to my oldest son the other day. I was like, if we're getting just 1% better every single day, then by the end of the year, we're over 300% better.
Love that. Yeah.
Like, we're almost 400% better by the end of the year. But let's say we gave ourselves some off days, right? And I think sometimes we don't think about it like that, right? It's change and impact aren't always big. You can't always see them. It doesn't mean that they're not there, though.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. That's one of the biggest notes I had is it's really the small things. It's the small things that matter. It's the small ripples, right? Whether, like I said, that's owning a mistake, or like dancing with your kids in the kitchen because your favorite song came on, right?
Yeah.
Or it's really easy to talk about self-care and to talk about those things, and we talk about that a lot because it's very, very important to us. Like, I want to be clear about that. But like, science teaches us that every action has a ripple. Every action and reaction has a ripple. Literally everything that we do causes a ripple, right? And I'm not saying that to be like, whoa, because I don't think anybody's perfect. But like, when you throw a rock in the water and the ripples come off, it's actually the smallest rocks that make the most ripples.
Isn't that interesting?
Because they're so small and they're so just there in the water that they're not canceling each other out. Right? Whereas like you chunk a big rock and it makes some cool ripples, but they start to cancel each other out, just like a boat, like driving by canceling out another boat's waves, right? So just the small things matter. And those it might feel small in the moment, but it will probably echo for years and years.
Beautiful. Well, you know me, Becky, and I'll take us in a slightly different direction by sharing
Thank
a
you.
definition.
Yeah.
A definition I found because I love definitions. A ripple effect is a situation where an effect from an initial state can be followed outwards incrementally. So like the initial state, imagine your rock being thrown in the water, right? And then the effect is followed outward incrementally, right? So when I read that, I thought to myself, where do ripples show up in my life? Like, what areas of my life do I feel like a ripple effect occurs or really feels resonant? What areas? And I'd love to hear yours, Becky. And I thought about parenting for sure, right? Like where I see my actions having an effect incrementally, right? And outwards, where I see like, oh shit, I did this, and then this other series of things kept happening, right? Like I see it definitely in parenting. What about with giving? I thought this one was interesting, but this one came up for me. When I give there's there's a noticeable ripple effect. Again, these are all subtle things, right? So I'm not talking about like whammo, you know, a light came on. Maybe with parenting, I feel like it's a little more uh, noticeable, or a little more close to home, I guess. A little less subtle, but like giving, that's one that's definitely subtle for me, but I notice it. Self-care, like you talked about this a little bit, but like the way I care for my body, and when I don't care for my body, like drinking wine, or there's like when I go too far, or I do too much, or I overstep, or I batter and bruise myself by choice, there's a ripple, right? Certainly there's a ripple effect there. I'm going to call it healing work. There's 100%. That may be the number 2 place in my world where I experience the ripple effect. So I'd love to hear what you think about that.
Yeah, no, those are great. I had a lot of the same ones. So I think one that I had, which you talked about self-care, but I said self-talk.
Self-talk.
The way I talk to and about myself.
Good one.
And the ripple that creates, and interestingly, the way that I see that is handed down.
Ooh.
Right? And so
generational
that was the other
ripples. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other one that I had, was generational ripples. And I wrote a neat note about this, like, because I was like, generational ripples, again, this is not all bad things, right? Like, this can be like, oh, we did this tradition at Christmas every year. Like, we made Santa cookies. I still make Santa cookies with my kids, right? Like, so I think sometimes we talk about generational hand downs, and we automatically go to all of the not great things. But I wrote, we're either continuing the ripple generationally, or we're redirecting it.
Yes.
Right? And whether it's good or bad, right? We're either continuing it, or we're redirecting it. And I thought, that's interesting.
Yes. And I had in my notes, Becky, once again, we're very much on the same page, even though we're not in the same state, very much at a distance.
No.
But breaking cycles, stopping the ripple. That's what I put in my notes. That's exactly what you're talking about. We can, if we are affected by a ripple that someone else started, we don't have to sit and be a victim. No. As Becky said, cycles can be broken, ripples can be stopped, ripples can be redirected. They're hard to stop. I want to make sure I kind of say that out loud. If you can imagine the water visual, that Becky has been kind of describing here throughout, you really can't stop a ripple. You can interrupt it. Right? Like, you can't think about it. The visual of water moving out in a ripple really can't be stopped. It can be moved, interrupted, redirected, but it kind of can't be stopped, which is a huge moment to pause on here, maybe, Becky, is that it's important to try to have strong awareness and think before you create.
Yeah.
You obviously can't necessarily control what you can't control the ripples other people are creating necessarily, but you can stop and think about yours, because if you think about it as something that can't be stopped, wow, like that just got a lot more serious, right? Like that just lands different when you think about something that's gonna happen whether you want it to continue to happen or not.
Yeah. I think about too, like the butterfly effect, right? And if a butterfly flaps his wings, and I mean, it just is so, energetically speaking, the world is so connected, right? And so the more, and I know you've already talked about awareness, Lacey, but the more awareness we have about just energetically what we're putting out. And I want to be honest and transparent, and like, nobody's perfect at this. right?
Yeah.
I'm not perfect at this. Today is a really great example of how not perfect I am at this. Like it truly is. And but it is the awareness of like, okay, now what? Now how
Right.
do I move? Right? And so
Yes.
but I think that those movements need to be strategic, not reactive. Right? Because typically I would say in my life, when I'm putting out ripples that maybe I don't love, they are coming from a place of reaction, not from cause. Right? They're coming at the effect of something, not from the cause of something. And I would rather try really hard for as many of my ripples as I can possibly control to be at cause, like for them to be intentional. And that takes a lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of work, and a lot of redirecting old ripples, and a lot of that. And it's hard, and we're still going to have moments or days or weeks or months where that maybe not what we're doing, and we can't let that stop us. Right? Because even though sometimes ripples feel like waves, sometimes we feel like we're drowning in the it. They're still just small. We just have to stand up.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. You touched on something I thought was really neat, and I also wrote down about interconnectedness I wrote down interconnectedness of systems. What I mean is, like, if you think about how, say, an economic ripple might affect a social ripple, might affect a personal ripple, right? Like how, how sometimes a ripple that started in one aspect of our life can, definitely still affect, it can it can affect a lot of things, because the reality of the world is that it's interconnected, as Becky said, right? So they're not, I guess they're not contained, right? The powerful thing about a ripple is it doesn't live in a box. You can't put it in a jar, right? Like it's the scope of a ripple is massive, potentially.
Yeah, and
right?
Sometimes you might not be able to see that it's moving still, but it still is.
Yeah.
Like it's out of your privy, right? And you can, but
your
it's
sight.
still there.
Yeah, out of your sight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so. Out of your like conscious awareness, right? Like it's out of your, like, you're not thinking about it. It's not in the dashboard, anymore, but that doesn't mean it's not affecting something.
I have a
someone.
cool story. Is that okay if I share a story?
100%.
So once upon a time, I was part of an MLM. And I think everybody has been, I think it's like a rite of passage into adultness. But, and honestly, I'm grateful for that, because it taught me a ton. It really did. And it taught me a lot. If nothing else, it taught me a lot about like self-improvement and that's probably what sparked a ton in my life. And so, but in this particular one, I had a leader give me one of these little cards, and it's like a square little card, and you pop it open and it has a cute little message on it, and you can buy them, and they have all different kinds of messages.
Yeah.
Right. And I still actually have this card in my wallet. I carry it with me, and it's been over 10 years.
I love it.
And it had I don't even remember the quote now, but it had just this quote that in the moment, even though there's no way she could have known that was the one she was giving to me, I felt so seen. I felt so seen that over 10 years later, I still carry that with me. But here is how I continued that ripple, is that now I get those little cards, and if I'm at events, I hand them out to people randomly, right?
I've seen you do this.
There are people who will look for me because they know I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And can I get one today? Like it's just this random thing. And I've had two situations where I had one where I was at an event, and a year later and I gave one to like a worker. She looked like she was like somebody helping. She was hired, like she wasn't attending the event, right?
Right.
And she just looked like she was having a really, really hard day. And I gave it to her, and I was like, I just hope that your day gets better. And we're at this event in the same location a year later. And she is working again. And I hate to admit that I did not recognize her, right? But it wasn't about recognizing her. It was just about like, maybe we can create something positive in her life. And she was like, she saw me handing them out, and she came over to me and she was like, I have to tell you a story about how that morning I miscarried. And she's like, but I'm a single mom and I couldn't not be here because I needed the money. And she was like, and just your message that day, she was like, I was seen when there was no reason for me to be seen.
Wow.
And I remember just telling her, like, everybody deserves to be seen. You don't have to have a reason. Your reason is existence. Right? But I was like, that really stuck with me. And the fact that a year later she was like, oh my gosh. Right. And I've left them with people like, oh, here I have some, so just keep these. And they'll tell me, like, I have a friend that I did like a masterminding thing with, and I left them with him, and then he was meeting with another acquaintance of ours, and they opened them like 3 years later, and he was like, the message was exactly what we needed to hear. And all of this started because a leader at an MLM event gave me one over 10 years ago.
Wow.
Right? And so that's, I think, a really great example of our ripples carry far beyond our consciousness.
Yes.
Right? And that's a really powerful and amazing thing, that we have that much power in the world.
Yes. Yes. Becky, I think you are one of the people in my life who do this better than anybody. Who do just what I would call loving ripples out into the world, affirming ripples. I think you are expert level, 10 out of 10.
Well,
and
thank you for seeing me that way.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I mean it, and you know that. Seeing you do that in person, I mean, it really was the embodiment of what I mean when I say frequency. Because you the way you walked through that space, the way you approached strangers, the way you were willing to pour in to people you didn't even know, who didn't know you, who you might never see again. That is the frequency of starting those positive ripples, and we need more and more and more of that in our world. And I think that you are a creator of ripples in a powerful way, and I love that.
Well, I'm going to accept that and say thank you, because thank you. Along those notes, I actually wrote some things down, if that's okay.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Like, what are some ways that you can right now start creating positive ripples that are not a big, heavy lift? Right? Because I think sometimes we talk about it, and I'm not asking you to walk through event spaces and step completely out of your comfort zone and hand these. That was not anywhere on my notes even, right? Like I'm not asking you to do that, but what are some things that you could do right now? I have a couple ideas, and I'll share them because I know I'm just throwing this out, Lacey, so maybe you have some already, or maybe you'll have some after this, but I was like, putting your phone down.
Oh, yes.
Right? Putting your phone down.
Yes.
Making eye contact.
Yes.
Encouraging somebody. Right? I actually saw a really great example of this on I have not been on social media much this year at all, actually, because I just I needed to step away from my own mental health, and but I occasionally get on, and I saw somebody post in like a local moms group, and they were like, to the mom of the son, like, you guys were at Rock and Jump and he was very clearly autistic, and I just want you to know I see you, and you're not alone even when it feels like it. And just this like random
Oh, beautiful.
right? I'm like, the way that made my heart feel, right? So encouraging people, whether we know them or not. Stopping to listen.
Yes.
Just to listen. And always remembering to tell the people you love them. Like, can we normalize this, please?
Yes.
Like, I tell my friends, I tell the people that I care about that I love them every single time I can. Because I don't ever know when the last time is going to be. And fundamentally, a person who I am, like at my fundamental core, is somebody who wants every person in this world to know that they are loved.
Yes.
And if I have the opportunity to tell you that, and it may be the last opportunity that you ever hear that, then by God, I should do it. And I think that we should normalize that.
I love
think
that
it should
ripple.
be so normal.
And yes, I agree. And you've inspired me. I do it a lot more. Having been your friend, I do that a lot more than I used to. And sometimes I do it and it still lands awkward. And you know what? I say thank you. I say thank you for that. Thank you for the feeling that I did something outside my comfort zone. Thank you. Thank you for making me feel that discomfort, because that tells me that it's real and right. That it's above and beyond, that it's outside the comfort zone. So yeah, I love that, Becky. And I have a couple that I thought of as you were sharing. One is I love when people leave coupons on the store shelves at the grocery store.
Oh, that's a great one.
You know, like that is just such a, like, it's like I'm giving, it has the energy of I'm giving freely, I'm giving from my heart. It has the energy of abundance, right? Coming in to the person's life who's receiving those coupons. It has such good juju, the vibe is just so good. With that, and I've been doing something lately just because I love plants, just for the love, completely for the love. I've been sharing plants and cuttings of my plants and things with people who I didn't know would even like really love plants, and it's blossomed into this incredible, like, where people stop me now and say, "You know that plant cutting you gave me? Well, it's this big now, and look at it," right? People are now sharing the results of the ripple that I created just by sharing something that is completely free and natural, and it doesn't cost me anything, and it's just a pouring out of an experience that nourishes my soul, which is plant caring and growing and propagating and whatnot, and that is just such a cool way that I can show up and create ripples of goodness and of light and of nature. And yeah,
I love that. I love that so much, because the first thing that I actually thought, because I know you and we talk about your plants and I know how much you love them and the care that you give them, and like the literal love and like goodness that you're pouring into them, and the fact that now gets to take root in somebody else's life. Yes. You're creating more than a ripple, right? You're creating something foundationally, and that's really, I love that. I couldn't love that more.
Thank you. It's funny. I've created I think I've created a bit of a monster, because I told some of those friends who have received my plant love already. I told them that I was going to that plant show that I mentioned earlier in the episode. I told them I was going, and they're like, could you find me a baby about this big, and could you find me one that's this tall, and could you find me something beginner, because I really, really love plants now. So like I've sparked a new passion in some of these
joy.
In some of these ladies, and I think it's, I don't know, it's like my greatest joy. It's like holy shit, how did I stumble upon something that makes me so incredibly joyful, to share. So it's beautiful. But yeah, I mean, ripples can happen in the strangest ways and in the weirdest places, and yes, I think it's important to lead with intention, but I think sometimes it's a happy accident,
Yeah.
right? As
Yeah.
Bob
No, I
Ross
agree.
would say, it's a happy accident.
A happy accident. That's so funny. My daughter is trying to do a Bob Ross painting right now, and
Is
he
she?
does. He was like, "There's no mistakes. That they're all happy accidents." And I was like, I really love that. Actually,
love that.
Like,
Yeah.
and I want to say, like, make the silly ask, right? Like, even if you think it's silly, there is a group of moms in our Girl Scout group who I just love and adore, and I love all of the moms, but there are like some of us that just, we just really get
Click.
along. And
Yeah.
one of them was like, "Hey, are you guys interested in playing mahjong?"
Oh!
And I know how that sounds, and I'm like, yes.
Have you ever played Mahjong before?
I've played it on my computer.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But I'm willing to learn, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's not about the mahjong for me. It's about, man, an hour every other week or whatever to where I get to sit with women that I really love
Awesome.
and bask in that, right? Like, or, like I crochet, and I know that's an old granny thing to do. And you know what? I freaking love it because I get to do things like, here, let me send you a shawl. And every time you wear it, just know I'm wrapping you in my love. Literally. I'm wrapping you in my love.
All ripples,
And-
Becky.
And so, like, lean into the things that bring you joy, ladies. Right? Like,
Love it.
because nobody is responsible for creating the ripple of joy in our lives except for us.
Ooh. Sometimes that means putting yourself out there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like that woman, that friend of yours, she took a little bit of a risk by saying, "Hey, why don't we play some mahjong?" Right? Because you guys could have laughed her out of the room, right? And
Yeah.
like, I took a risk when I said, "Hey, friend, would you love to have a plant cutting?" Like, I propagated this. Would you love it? I use, me, I love to say, "Would you love it?" or "I would love
Yeah.
it," because it enhances the energy of love in my life. I believe, and I said, "Would you love to have this plant cutting?" And as I was saying it, I was like, I could be totally rejected right now. Like, I might feel really stupid right now, like saying that out loud to someone. But it came from deep inside. You know what I mean? It wasn't the intention was loving and whole and beautiful and from a good place, and it can't help but be well received when it's coming from the right energy, when it's coming from the right
Yeah.
place inside, and I
Yeah.
think we're very quick to cancel out our own joy and magic in sharing. We're very quick to cancel that out for fear of rejection, for fear of of looking silly, or for fear of it not landing with someone for XYZ reason. Like, I think it's super important that we lean into that and do more of that with the intent of a positive ripple
Yeah.
instead of fear of whatever it is you might be afraid of, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So good. I'm teaching I'm giving advice to myself here, ladies. Thanks for being here while I do that. But I need to hear most of the stuff we're chatting about here. But Becky, I have one more thing. I thought I'd share. Just a question. Becky's been tossing some really good questions at me the last couple episodes, but I'm going to share one with you here. And Becky, I don't think you need to answer this one because I think you've shared some amazing examples already. But if you want to, you're welcome. So what ripples do you cause? Just think about that, ladies. If you do, if you have some time today, maybe even in the next couple of days, sit with that question. What ripples are you causing, and in what areas of your life? And what can you do to even just become more aware so you can observe? the ripples, right? And then, and then once you know what they are and feel them out, you'll know what kind of adjustments you want to make. So the question is, what ripples do you cause?
That's a great question.
And
Yeah.
hopefully they're more positive than negative. But if they're negative, hey, this is your sign. Start making some positive ripples.
Yes.
So
That's good.
I loved this conversation,
Me
Becky.
too.
I didn't know this was going to be so juicy, but I felt like it was very juicy episode.
Yeah, I didn't either. This was fun.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you thought, Flamingals. Shout us out. Let us know. We're coming up on season 3, and I don't know about you, Becky, but I'm on fire for this, and we're not stopping. So buckle up, everybody, for season 3. But I'm so proud of us, Becky, and I know we're approaching 50 episodes. Everybody,
Crazy.
50. So that's amazing,
huge.
and we're super proud of ourselves because, to reflect back on it a little bit, Becky, we didn't, when we came to the mic for episode 1, we weren't even
sure there was going to be an episode 2. Let's be honest.
we were. I mean, we were so shook.
Yeah.
But we were dead set. But we were clear on the assignment and the purpose and the passion and the reason that we came to the mic together, and I'm so grateful, and I hope that it has served you or supported you in some big way, and we're gonna keep going because we're growing right along with you.
Love that.
So
Love that. Well, until next time, ladies.